Stephanie, are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good rock and roll.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate your help. It's great to be up here. I've been a chamber member since we got involved with the marketing campaign up here in Mount Vernon, and it's been something I've really grown to like a lot, working with the chamber and getting to know the people within the chamber. Lots of entrepreneurship, lots of great ideas that flow back and forth. So it's great to be up here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and then jump right into an overview of the presentation. I'm going to try to keep my remarks down to about a half hour because I would love to spend the next half hour just sort of brainstorming, you know, some of the challenges you're facing from a sales and marketing standpoint. And the beauty of these kind of groups is often you'll find somebody else in the audience going, I'm having that same problem. I think we should work together to kind of work through this. Or you create some opportunities for leverage and relationships. I have an advertising agency in Seattle. I am headquartered at the center of the universe in Fremont. I have an office space nirvana. I'm above a sports bar, so I get to take my computer down there and watch NCAA basketball tournaments and baseball games and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool. I love being involved with Fremont, the Fremont Chamber there. I was president of the Fremont Chamber for a couple of years. I've been in business for pretty close to 30 years now. There's never a good time to start your own business. Everybody knows that. So you just go ahead and do it and see what happens. And in 1985, I decided that would have been a good idea to just try it, see what comes about. And sure enough, it's worked out great. We have clients around the United States. We focus in a couple of different areas. One is in community marketing, where we work with communities like Mount Vernon, LaConner, Cedar Woolley, and others. Another client I've had for about 18 years, the city of Renton. We did their marketing and came up with the Hit the Curve brand and that sort of activity. And I've got a bunch of other real clients, is what I call them. Businesses that range from a lot of healthcare professionals. We work with about 25 dental practices around the U.S. and up in Canada. We work with hospital districts on their promotion and marketing, and then other individual businesses, whether those are maritime related, with naval architects, a tugboat company, the Port of Seattle, handle 2 major trade shows for 3 major trade shows now for advertising and marketing. So a variety of different experiences. I've had a chance to do everything from open the downtown Nordstrom store, their flagship store, to helping to host the NCAA basketball tournament in Seattle, on through creating a lot of fun special events, promotions, marketing programs, websites, e-newsletters, etc. for a variety of different kinds of businesses. So I've got a lot of experience, which also means that I'm old. So I'd love to go around the room real quick and just let me know who is here so I can potentially tailor some examples to, hi there, to the folks that are in the room. So if you all want to just say hi, introduce yourself, what your affiliation is. Bob, I'll start with you.
I'm Bob Hywood. I'm brand new with the city of Mount Vernon, the Community and Economic Development Director.
You are? How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's a great gig.
You're the lead on that?
Yeah.
Cool. Shannon has left, and then Bob.
Not even.
How great I'm looks.
Did you say
So Bob is taking over for Shannon.
It's the city.
He's had an awful lot of great experience in this area, including being the head of the Port District in Curtis. Go.
Yeah, my name is Max Collette, and I teach business management at Skagit Valley College, and I have my own business on the side called Max Collette Works. You know, mostly conflict, group facilitation, communication, mediation.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming. College is great.
Yeah.
Love working with them.
I'm Julie with Ducks Back Northwest. We do direct cleaning for commercial and residential.
Great.
And I'm Carrie Anderson, and I have a non-emergency medical transportation business.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
Amy Jacobs. I just opened a new women's clothing store downtown 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
So, House of Style.
That's awesome.
I'm Barbara Erbach, and I'm the employment specialist full-time at Goodwill Job Training and Education Center. So they already have their brand, but I want to learn how I can outreach to our community with.
Go ahead.
Kimberly Gregory, I'm with Soria Property Management.
Nice to see you, Kimberly.
I'm Joe McClyman, or Joe the Computer Guy.
I'm an on-site service technician, computer service tech.
I love it. Go ahead.
Sally Johnson, Guardian Northwest Title and Escrow.
Good to see you, Sally.
Good to see you
We
too.
know, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Stephanie Correa. I'm with the Mount Vernon Chamber Marketing Division as well as their EWP coordinator.
Go ahead.
I'm John Slaith. We're a direct mailer and printer in the area, and we've been in business since 1984.
Terrific. Good. Everybody got lunch okay? Okay, great. Sales. I used to think that was a four-letter word. Actually, it's plural, which is okay now. I swore growing up that I would never, ever, never do sales. Just one of those things, right? What I found my entire professional career is that I do nothing but sales my entire life, 24/7. Whether it's pitching the media on trying to get a story placed, or trying to get a client signed up, or asking a client about potentially other services that we could provide. I'm never out of the sales business. And you know what? I like it. The first thing you have to learn, though, is that no is not a four-letter word. You're going to get no a lot. It's just the nature of the beast. And so that's okay. It's not personal. It's business. Take a line out of The Godfather. It's just, it's just one of those things that we have to get used to in terms of the marketing conversation that we have in our business. Who in your business is responsible for sales? My answer would be everybody. For example, as I mentioned, we do a lot of work with dental practices around the U.S. And who spends the most time with a patient when you're at the visit? The hygienist, right? They've got an hour. And they can be talking away and talking about everything from sleep apnea services and other treatments that they've got going on within the dental practice. It's rare that I see my doctor. So the hygienist is critical in terms of the dental practice being able to say, this is who is responsible for sales. How you answer the phone, how quickly you get back. It's all about that networking that you've got in terms of the sales process. What I'd like to do is to spend just a few minutes talking about some general ideas about the wonderful world of sales, and then jump into a sales continuum that I'll share with you in terms of some ideas about how you might use sales or marketing tactics during the course of the entire sales process. I've got a bunch more of these things. So, a couple of quick introductory comments. Sales don't occur in a vacuum. We've all got limited time, energy, and resources to be able to devote to the selling process. So we have to be strategic. The first thing in terms of the sales process, and I think probably the most important thing, is to set goals and figure out what you want to get in terms of return for investment on the goals that you set. So, what are you trying to do? What type of markets are you trying to pursue? What type of impact do you want to have? Do you want to expand your printing business and take a look at other lines within that family of operations? So what goals do you have as a business to try to set? So during the course of the year, you may set, I'm interested in seeing a 10% increase in sales month to month, after you get going. So set those goals up and then figure out, as you go through the process, for example, we're going to choose Twitter. So what kind of goals is realistically acceptable? So I want to have 500 Twitter followers by the end of the year. I want to have all Seattle media following me on Twitter by the end of the year. So you can get very specific, and I'll talk some more about how you can measure success in terms of setting those goals. Second, know who your target market is. Real critical. It's real easy to spend marketing dollars. It's real easy to spend time at professional meetings that don't really end up benefiting you at all, but you're there, kind of waving the flag. I really encourage you to say, so who's your audience? Who do you really want to reach? Is it parents? Is it school kids that are between 12 and 16 years old? Is it trying to reach professors at the college? Having that in mind will dictate the tactics. A lot of people jump right to tactics, and that to me is kind of the easy part. You know, once you have an idea what the goals are and who you're trying to reach, then you can divide and figure out those tactics to be able to go past those folks. So a lot of what I'm going to share with you in terms of the tactics don't cost a lot of money, but they do cost you time. You know, for example, how much time do you have to manage your social media? Is that important to you from a business standpoint? For me, it's very important. For Mount Vernon, it's very important. So we set aside time to be able to do that, as opposed to doing other things. So knowing who your market is and how to go about reaching those current folks, and particularly what's going to happen 10 years now to that market. Is your market going to grow old and then die? I mean, great department store in Seattle, Frederick and Nelson. Their customers grew old, they died. And there was no customers to kind of fill in what happened after that. Lamont, I mean, there's lots of examples of stores, businesses that didn't keep pace with the times, and all of a sudden, where was their customers? You know, for example, a lot of businesses today continue to use print. Terrific, that may be the perfect tactic for you to use. But I can guarantee you, my son, who probably reads more newspapers than I, doesn't subscribe to a single newspaper. It's all online. So how do you reach the next generation of folks to make sure that you're going to be able to keep those customers going for your business? So again, figuring out where your customers are, who they are, and then down the road, 5 years from now, what's going to happen to your customer base, and then how are you going to best reach those folks? You know, one of the things from an economic development standpoint that Bob and I are working on is the change in terms of who's making decisions at businesses. You know, we've got a lot of corporate folks that are consolidating, and their headquarters are now in Chicago or other places. Who makes that call? So how do you reach those people? The third is using marketing at every step of the sales process. And I'll talk about 5 ideas that I've got. There's a million different approaches, but you know, being able to use marketing, sales, communications all along the way. What I found in my business, and I'm sure you guys have seen this as well, is that there's darn few times that I've been able to walk up and somebody jumps up and says, "Kent, I want to spend $100,000. It doesn't work that way. You know, you got to build the base over time. I just put a quote in here from Business Week. At any given time, 3% of your active market ain't on the radar. But what you need to do is to figure out how you can be in that place when they do want to pick that phone up or do bump into you at a Chamber of Commerce event to say, "I'm there for you and I really want to do business and I trust you." So building awareness, building engagement in that first part of the process is a non-stop effort. And if you have only X amount of time, spend it there, as opposed to trying to do some other things that I'll just talk about in just a bit. Point number 4, word of mouth advertising is huge. I know this is true for our business, in the service business. So figure out how you can put your current customers on your sales team through, like we create a number of patient referral programs, using testimonials from your customers. Getting them to help you out in that sales process is really critical. Why? Because it helps to build trust. It separates you from that. People know you, they trust you. You know, like a car buying experience is really tough. So it's nice to have somebody that you can trust. The one that always got me is the car repair business. You know, where something goes down and somebody says, "Well, we need a $600 part." You're sort of trusting them, and if you don't have that level of trust with the auto repair place, then, you know, it's going to break down, pardon the pun. So the opportunity is to figure out some ways that you can, again, build trust, build loyalty within your current base, and then put them on the sales team. So they're talking about, "Hey, I had a great experience at my dentist," or "I had a great experience at this clothing shop," or my printing came out great. And then you get that word of mouth advertising to really enhance your brand and to build it. Point number E is that plan for success. It's interesting how much time people spend at things like trade shows or other sorts of activities without figuring out, "Oh my gosh, now I got to follow up." And so you have this time, or you've got this networking. You go to a Chamber of Commerce event and you picked up 5 business cards. You know, a lot of the business folks that I've talked to don't follow up. They just put them in the drawer and maybe they'll catch up with them down the road. It's important to pick that phone up and follow up with them and have a plan so that you know that after a Chamber of Commerce networking event or after a trade show, that you're not going to be able to be on the sales floor as much as you'd like, because you're going to have to devote some time to picking up the phone, to following up with those people, or at least dropping them an email, then following up with them if you don't have time. But to keep that point of contact, because in the course of the sales process, you want to get from engagement to sales, right? Awareness, engagement, sales. So what you've got to do is figure out some ways to continue to move that customer prospect along from, I don't know you, to I want to trust you and do business with you. So the opportunity is to figure out a sales plan to give yourself permission to take the time to follow up on those leads that you do generate. And I mentioned everybody's on your team is responsible for sales, whether it's the decorating people that are removing the Christmas decorations out of your retail store in the middle of July. Hopefully that's not happening. The opportunity to answer the phone properly, to get that referral taken care of. I mean, everybody on your team is responsible for sales. So that's just kind of some quick introductory remarks that I wanted to share with you. What I'd like to do now is to pass along some thoughts about potential tactics that you can take a look at. And again, this is something that, go ahead, jump in. There you go. Oops, gave them way too many. Good time. There's 1,000,002 theories on the sales process, and you can certainly put your own titles and names and objectives and things like that into that conversation. Just want to hand a couple back to well, they may have to. But I kind of boil it down to 5 different areas, and the first one is awareness. Is just getting on the radar to get that demand there. I didn't know about the computer business. This is great. Now that I know of somebody within the computer business up here, I can make a referral, right? So just make I'll be there for you. So the opportunity is to figure out, how you can build awareness that you're in the game. And that's the first step. And virtually all of the sale effort is, you can see the number of tactics that are there, are just to get you and your potential customers in the game so they can say, I'm interested in some printing. Who do I know? I know you, which is great. So the opportunity to build awareness, and I'll talk about tactics in just a sec. The second one is engagement. So once you are on the radar, then you can start engaging those customers in a meaningful dialogue about potential services and how your product or service will benefit the customer. Add value to what they're doing, whether that's buying a dress, getting your car repaired, getting some printing done, getting motivational training or whatever. The opportunity is to figure out how you can start to engage in a dialogue. And this is different than the selling thing. I mean, you can certainly evolve to that. But again, just building that relationship, building that trust, so when they are in that buying mode, when they're ready to say, yes, push send, I want to buy, then you're going to be there for them. And then you're in the sales mode. You either have a one-on-one, or you could do it via your website, or it could be, a lot of different ways that you could do the selling process. Retention, boy, the old adage about retaining your current customers and then figuring out how you can add value, which the last piece was really driven home during this last recession to me. There wasn't any new business for our business. I mean, it was really, really tight. People just were not spending money. So went after the current clients, make sure that we were doing the best job possible, retaining them, and then looking to see how we might be able to add value to them by offering some new different products and services within our marketing mix that got them excited. So we were able to actually grow during that recession period without adding new clients, because we added additional revenue from the current businesses that we had a relationship that had the trust. And now that things have changed a bit, we're adding some new clients along, so it's working out well. So the objectives under awareness, get on the radar. So they know you're a player, you're in the game, and what I always tell people is own your market. That's the most important thing. So it's like a pebble in a pond approach that you have within your market. You want to be known as the pro. You want to be known as the go-to place. And I'll talk about some tactics to to get that there. So you're able to own that market. So getting on the radar. Second, be there when they are ready to buy. So after you've got the engagement process, you've got to continue to engage them. I do a lot of work, as I mentioned, with a couple, 3 trade shows, and one of the things that somebody said, one of the exhibitors said, it says, if we're not here, then people will have thought we were out of business. I thought that was pretty cool. So you got to keep showing up, in other words. I mean, you just can't sort of say, well, we did that trade show back in October, and by gosh, we're there. You know, every year you got to be there to do that. I mean, how many mailings do you think it takes? The cruise industry does a study about how many mailings it takes to get people from awareness to sale. And the average is 18. That's a lot of, but you gotta let them know that you're there. I've been on a cruise mailing list forever. Bought a cruise this past year for next year. So, I mean, it takes that long. So, continuing that conversation and letting people know that you're available to them and on the radar and being there to service them when they're ready to go there. Ask for the order. It's amazing how many people don't ask for the order. They just wait for the customer to say, I'd like to buy something. The opportunity is to just sort of say, hey, I noticed you're out of business cards or whatever, or maybe you want to update your business card or something like that. So you're always looking for opportunities to ask for the order, to get that opportunity to get into the sales conversation where they're going to actually pull the trigger and make that happen. Second, retention, deliver on the promise. So after you've converted them and got a sale, etc., make sure you deliver on the promise that you get, whether that's the type of clothing that you've got or the type of service that you've got. And I really encourage you to take a look at your service delivery model and retention program to see what you can do to continue to enhance that. So you've got ways to continue to build on the base that you've got and to deliver even more. And that gets to the final point, which is adding value. How can you show the customer that they are truly special? What can you do to give them something or an added benefit, or maybe it's an annual review? I mean, there are lots of little things that you can do to add value. And you can do that during the sales process as well. One of my favorite examples is that when I go to Nordstrom, they'll show a shirt, and it could be this really, like checkered shirt or a striped shirt or whatever, and then they'll say, that tie would look great with this. So all of a sudden, I'm walking out with a shirt, tie, and probably a pair of pants and a belt, but all I wanted was a shirt. But they're adding value because this guy knows me and I work with him and he's good about it. He calls me up all the time. You got to check this out. We got a great sale coming up. You got to be here on Tuesday. This is awesome. How cool is that? So the opportunity is to add value, and I'll talk about some tactics on that. So I've listed a variety of different potential tactics under each of the categories. Feel free to add your own. And again, the 5 categories that I've got, the broad categories, are certainly something that you can play with. But there's a lot of ways under category number 1 where it's basically a matter of your time and maybe a little bit of money to get the word out. Yeah, you can spend a lot of money with a Super Bowl ad to generate awareness. That didn't get the sock puppets a lot of business. You know, there's some things that broke down there. So the opportunity is to do those things that are fairly inexpensive, just to let people know that you are around and available, and to start demanding or getting that demand generation. A couple of things I wanted to mention on here. If you don't have a website, please invest in one. That is kind of the backbone of marketing. It used to be brochures. I can't tell you how many brochures we did over the course of my career. I probably did 1 last year. Just the nature of the beast. People want a website. They want to go there. And take a look at your website in terms of what it can do from a sales standpoint and getting people to convert. You can add video, you can add product demonstrations, you can add testimonials. Our Mount Vernon Life campaign, we decided not to do a blog per se, but we have a Twitter role that's there. So every time it's posted about what's happening in terms of activities in Mount Vernon, it's right on the front page of our website. So it lets people know what's going on, and it engages them in an ongoing way to get people excited. I recently did a workshop for the downtown folks here, and we spent a lot of time talking about using your website for sales in terms of having a sales portal there. So you can start taking advantage of different things that are available to you. An example in my business, I mentioned we do a lot of work within the dental area. We formed a division called dentalsleepmarketing.com. And so if you're a dentist in Albuquerque and need a brochure done or some other work that's done, you can basically just go to my website, upload your logo, upload your photo, upload, kind of basic information about the practice. It goes to my designer. My designer sends it out. They have it printed down in Albuquerque or whatever. I don't even talk to the folks. All I do is process their credit card, which is a good thing. So even as a service business, you can set up ways to use your website for sales opportunities. So lots of cool things you can do there. Search engine optimization is critical. Having your website be able to use as a mobile application is critical. 60% of all sales now are done through your phone. It's not done through a hardtop computer. So the opportunity to make sure that your website is mobile compatible is something that's absolutely critical. So website's the first piece. The second major piece would be, I really encourage you to collect email addresses and continue to collect email addresses. You get a business card at a trade show, you meet somebody at a networking event at the chamber, whatever, grab their business card, put it into the mix, and then start sending out, using Constant Contact or whatever form, a regular newsletter, whether that's monthly or quarterly, whatever, to let people know about new products and services that you've got, different activities that you're involved with, the customer of the decade, whatever you're trying to highlight. There's some ways you can do that through Constant Contact or another kind of mail marketing opportunity. In my mind, that is the easiest and most effective form of advertising because you're dealing with a current or potential customer base that you can reach out to on a regular basis to showcase and engage your customers. You can link back to your website. You can link to other opportunities for them. So it's a real cool way for you to stay in touch and communicate the value. You can buy email lists, not necessary. Is the chamber mailing list available for sale?
Yes, it is.
So, see? Cool deal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You should tell people.
It's one of your member benefits, actually.
So, I mean, and if you don't want to buy the entire chamber list, and if you're interested in reaching out, I mean, for a printing business, you probably want to get in touch with virtually anybody, but I mean, you can segment that out. You don't have to send the entire list, So you'd be surprised how many things are available just by asking. So if you bump into an association or trade organization that you belong to, ask them if their list is for sale. We do prospecting for dentists that are interested in sleep medicine by working with the American Academy for Dental Sleep Medicine and buying their list. So there are ways that you can enhance that don't cost an arm and a leg. And again, having that kind of targeted approach is much, much better than sitting on top of the Space Needle firing a cannon with a bunch of flyers in it, hoping somebody reads them. The other thing I wanted to add was social media. How many of you guys are actively engaged with social media? Okay, good, good. It is so critical, and there's so many different flavors, and it's so easy to get overwhelmed by the different possibilities that are out there. I take a look at each of the different distribution vehicles, the Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn's, etc. See what fits. I mean, if you're in the craft business, the Pinterest is just a terrific way to go. LinkedIn is a great way to go to reach out to individual businesses. I had a restaurateur that was interested in expanding his catering business, and we went online through LinkedIn and found all the HR directors in Fremont and Ballard and Wallingford, and boom, did our mail campaign to those folks and started generating some sales business for them. So you can use that. Twitter's great for press releases and news announcements, doesn't take much, and then Facebook is live and love hate with them. That's okay. They're very powerful for what they offer, and they do offer some great segmentation. Facebook ad, Google ads are really powerful and very inexpensive. A great way to get the word out to some targeted audiences. We can spend some more time talking about that. To manage social media, because I'm involved across a lot of different clients with social media, I use a program called Hootsuite, Hootsuite. It's free. And it basically allows you to set up columns. So you can set up Twitter followers that I have a page for Mount Vernon, which has people who direct message me and a direct message campaign. news announcements. I have folks that I follow that I can retweet, you know, like the school district and other folks like that. And I've got probably 12 different categories in Hootsuite that I use to manage that. So I can look at, you know, the Mount Vernon page on my Hootsuite and be able to say, okay, so here's what's going on, here's the trends, here's what people are talking about, here's some things that I can retweet. I've got some questions that are coming up about parking for the Tulip Festival that I quickly turn back to the chamber. You know, there's lots of things like that. So it's for me, it's a great way for me to easily manage the social media and being able to see what's going on. You may find something different and better, and I encourage you to take a look around, and we can talk some more about that. But it helps me at least, you know, figure out what's going on. Organizations like the Chamber are really critical, and I really like them from the standpoint that you get lots of networking, you can build relationships, you can build community. It's the kind of thing, again, to own your own market. That getting involved with the Chamber events and activities is a great thing to do. Your trade associations are, again, something that you may want to get involved with. And then take a look at your clients. I mean, there may be client groups to get involved with. We do a lot of dental shows. We don't take a booth there. I walk around and say hi. So it's really easy, whether it's a shopping center council show where potential developers are there taking a look at investment in shopping centers and communities around the world. Just walking around and being there where our clients are, our customers are, is a good thing. So networking is a great way to get involved. Fundraising, community engagement, that sort of thing is a great way, again, just to let people know that you're a player within the marketplace. One of the things that I like to do is to encourage people to become the expert. You see that on Guest Expert Radio and TV. When we first start working with a client, one of the first things we do is we send a release to the radio stations and say, if there's national news that's breaking, we have a local source that you can talk to about what's going on. So, for example, if there's an accident of a truck driver, remember the crash that took place, I'm blanking on the comedian's name, the Walmart truck that hit the comedian, and it was a drowsy driver kind of thing. So we got on the radio, called the radio station like in Seattle, Cairo, and said, we have, I'd like to do a quick interview about what causes drowsy driving and some of the things you can do to prevent that. So we had our dentist on Cairo Radio talking about a crash that took place in Pennsylvania. So there are lots of cool things that you can do in terms of positioning your business as the go-to spokesperson. So to get in the relationship with the CAPS KVRC folks that are always looking for, you know, people to talk to, is a great thing to do. You know, for a computer business, if you can show them that you're one of the pros, they're looking for content. They may create a half-hour radio program, a call-in program to help listeners go through. So what antivirus program are you taking a look at? They'll go out and sell advertising for it, you know, which is very cool. Absolutely, they can make money on that. They're looking for content.
Who do you call to tell them about this?
I would sit down with Jerry Keene, who is the general manager over there. Jerry used to own the station. But you know, just, again, all they're going to do is to say, they may say no. But 6 months from now, they got a new sales guy who's coming to town and goes, I got an idea, we ought to be doing a computer show. And the station owner goes, I know this guy in town. So again,
a computer guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the kind of cool thing that you can do, is just pick up the phone and call them and say, what do you think, you know? The opportunity to exchange ideas and think about possibilities is really cool. Co-branding. Think about some opportunities to partner up within your groups to help get the word out. It could be, you know, working through a downtown association where you're highlighting fashion lights coming up in March. Renton is the home of the Seattle Seahawks. That's, you know, the headquarters there. So obviously we decided that it would be really, really cool if we took advantage of that co-branding opportunity. So we have this football that we developed, which is a stress ball, and we give these out through the city. And on one side it says Renton, home of the Boeing 737 MAX. This was to an aerospace convention. I'm trying to reach out to aerospace businesses. And the other side says Renton, home of the world champion Seattle Seahawks. You had to get permission from the Seahawks to be able to get that, but it's a cool thing that you can do, again, to partner up. So if you're in the healthcare business, maybe doing a co-promotion with the Skagit Regional Health or something like that, that you can partner up to to leverage what their resources are doing. Retirement homes are great for seminars. You know, you can go in there and talk about, you know, financial planning, or you can talk about healthcare, yoga. We get a lot of our dentists in there talking about implants and other sorts of things. So just partnering up with the community at large is a great thing to do. Yeah, you can spend a lot of money on advertising. I encourage you to take a look at web banner ads. It's a lot cheaper. I can buy an entire week's worth of web banners on the Seattle Times, which is the #1 website in the state, for half of what it cost me to buy a full page in the Seattle Times newspaper. And it's the same way with the Skagit Herald. It's about half. To buy a month-long campaign on Go Skagit, which I still think is the top website in this area, versus buying print. And you can target it. So if you want to be into the community news section, the financial news section, the health section, the health and garden section, the business section, you can target your ads on that page. The other reason why I like buying specific ads like that is that I can look and go back to my web analytics that you've got built into your new website and be able to say, which I did, we did a campaign on GeekWire for Mount Vernon talking about high tech. GeekWire is a newsletter John Cook and Todd Bishop put together that reaches out primarily to the Puget Sound tech industry. So we're interested in bringing some of those folks up to Mount Vernon. And I know by looking at my website that we got 200 unique visits the first day our ad ran. And if I put that same ad in the Seattle Times, I don't know if I can get that kind of response. Some people may see it, and I get that kind of awareness stage, but I don't know exactly how many people I've got and where I can go back and hit those people up. So the opportunity to target in with your advertising, in my mind, is a lot better, particularly for small business, than reaching out and doing Seattle Times advertising. Nobody here from the Herald, Skagit Valley Herald advertising, that sort of general advertising, but targeting specific to folks. I mean, gosh knows, there's so many unique niche publications. When we did the Eat Local campaign, we targeted Edible Seattle, which is a magazine about people that are looking for farm to fresh, you know, table dining. We targeted the Grow Northwest and people like that, as opposed to, again, buying large general advertising. So I spent a lot of time on awareness because I think that's where you should spend most of your time to begin with. Again, getting people aware that you're a player, that you're the go-to person, and then once you're aware, then you can use your e-newsletter, your one-on-one meetings, your engagement, and other opportunities during the course of the campaign to really sit down with them and talk about possibilities. So you have a chance to get excited about what they're involved with, how you can add value, and then you translate that to them. On the sales stuff, I want to make just a couple quick comments. Be prepared, because you never know when the sale is going to happen. I don't know how many of you use Square, but it's a great way to get people to pay right away and to get them to take care of business and make the sale. Are you familiar with that? It's a little application that goes in your phone or whatever. You guys use that for luncheons and stuff?
We use it for the wine festival.
Okay.
That's when we.
Yeah, I mean the Fremont Chamber uses Square, but it's just a great way to sort of say, oh, you want to buy something? Let's go ahead and take care of that right away.
Just to touch on that.
Yeah.
Square may not be the best deal. Always start at your financial institution and see what they have.
Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, web sales, I mentioned, have your order forms available, so if somebody says, yeah, I'm interested in doing that, great. Can I write you up? And it's amazing how many times you walk into a networking event, you don't have business cards. You know, we were at, my band was playing down in Enumclaw at a show, and somebody came up and says, we'd love to hire you, you got a card? Yeah, I forgot the card, it's really stupid. It happens, you know, so, but try to be prepared. On retention, again, using social media, I really like to make the customer a hero. So sending out press releases about them is something that we do regularly. It's some of the press releases, most of the press releases may or may not get picked up. But there are some things that you can do. One of the services that I use is called 24/7 press release. And for $89, you can target a larger area like Washington State or the United States or the world for that matter, that global sales potential. I mean, the cool thing about that is that it generates an unbelievable buzz on the media, on Google in particular. So if people type in beauty salon Mount Vernon or beauty salon Washington, you may show up because you sent out and used 24/7 to help raise your visibility. And it's a great way to highlight customers and you know, let them know what's going on. Use it to announce new employees. I mean, there's just lots of cool tools that you can use. The 24/7 is only $89 per release. Sounds like a lot, but it's awesome from the standpoint of the buzz that it generates on the internet. And then also you can, they send you a report about where the press release was distributed, which is pretty phenomenal. And then also the number of hits that it gets and opens. And so it provides a nice return.
I'm sorry, what's the name of that?
24/7.
Just 247.
24/7 press release service. And then adding value, you know, private sales, annual reviews, other things that you can do, gifts, anniversary celebrations. We put together again, taking a page out of the Seahawks, you know, Sounder scarves are really hot, you know, everybody's wearing a Sounder stuff. So we put together a Sounder kind of scarf, but on one side it said Renton ahead of the curve, on the other side it said Renton, home of the Seattle Seahawks. And expensive, yeah, but we give those to dignitaries, businesses that are coming to town, to folks that are visiting sister cities, things like that. So little thank yous like that are always a good thing, you know, and sending personal notes is always a good thing as opposed to an email. Picking up the phone and saying, how you doing? You know, just little things like that to let the customer know that you're valuable. All that takes time. So again, where we started earlier on is to say, okay, so first give yourself permission to take the time to be able to do those kind of calls. And then secondly, identify a sales process, so after you're at a chamber event or after you're at a trade show or whatever you're going to do, to give yourself some time to be able to do the social media, to do the outreach and things like that. So this is just a start, and I encourage you to take a look at your own business and see what kind of opportunities that there are to hopefully be able to figure out how you can engage customers along all that way along the selling process. Don't get frustrated. Again, 97% of the time customers aren't buying, but when they are, you want to be in that game. So with that, I'd love to open it up and see what kind of challenges you're facing, and I'd love to be not just Ken answering, but if you hear something within this that you've had success with in your business, feel free to chime in. So.
Well, one of the things I hear, I teach customer service and personal selling to colleagues. I'm always turning over new books and to sellers handling and the new rules of marketing and sales and stuff. And the big thing I'm getting is the old paradigm from the 20th century is I'm going to come in, I'm going to cold call you, I'm going to sit you down, I'm going to sell you, is over. That more like what you're talking about, there's multiple steps, multiple touches, creating relationships and building trust is really where you're going to get the fruition from selling. And that, because that generates the word of mouth advertising that goes from there. But
absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff out there, action plan marketing and different book yourself solid and stuff like that. But it all involves don't expect to walk in one time and sell your product.
Absolutely.
Be able to build a relationship.
And it's really interesting. I don't know how many of you hire younger people in your practices or your businesses, but they don't like to pick the phone up. They don't like the personal sort of selling. Not every one of them. I don't want to totally lump everybody like that, but boy, that personal touch I think is so critical. You know,
They don't even want to pick up the phone to call their mom. They want to text and
I hear you.
face
I hear you.
them.
But yeah, that personal touch I think is gold. I mean, it's all about trust and integrity, and if you can build that kind of relationship where people can trust you. You know, it's me. Like I said, I do a lot of and had done a lot of special events, and it always blew me away that I could, you know, order $100,000 worth of staging, lighting, and all this sort of stuff just because I'm Ken, which is kind of cool. You know, I paid for it, but I mean, they knew I could pay the bills. But you know, just being able to have that kind of relationship where you can talk to people on that level and they go, yeah, this sounds really cool. So what are the challenges you're facing?
Awareness.
Awareness?
Because I'm new.
What kind of things are you doing?
I have a website and I have a Facebook, and I do a lot of posting that way, and that's kind of all I've done. I have an email list that I've gathered, so I don't do that maybe as often as I could or should. Otherwise, I'm kind of stumped, feeling stumped.
How long you open?
Just 6 months.
Yeah, see.
Everyone says it just takes time.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody got any ideas in terms of what she might do to raise awareness?
Well, all I can say is I'm all about fashion and the type of store she has, and I've been up and down this street and I didn't notice your store. So something out there on the sidewalk or the,
Sandwich board, something like that.
something
Absolutely.
that brings it to the drive-by people, and something that grabs their attention. So obviously with spring and summer coming, there'll be fairs and festivals and all of that too, but I drive up and down, but I didn't know this.
I have a sandwich board with
Absolutely.
balloons on it, and I have a rack of clothes outside.
Have you
so-
done, like, any fashion shows or anything? Cause I know that in Everett, there's a couple of nice small shops that send out like an emailer to do fashion shows, and they have their customers doing the fashion show.
Ooh,
And it
shows.
brings a
Fun.
lot of
Cute.
people in there, and they have like a little wine and cheese thing. It's really fun, and it just, those customers bringing customers, and it's really good.
I've done a few events, and those have done well
Yeah.
when I've done
Who's
them.
if you had to say, who's my perfect customer?
Mhm.
What age would they be, and female, male, or?
Female, probably 40s-ish, working with,
Okay.
disposable income, and stylish, so probably creative, artistic, those types.
You get up to 55, 60, or, okay. Active retirement centers do a fashion show there. Take the fashion show to them. There's things like that I think that you could do to, to help get the word out.
I would actually
Okay.
say that your target market should be 25 and plus, starting to get that, getting into the work experience. They don't have the appropriate clothing, so getting that younger audience to be a return customer for years and then just always playing that more would be
You
more.
could do a free fashion show at the college. For graduates, you could do a dress for
I could.
success. Dress for success.
And you'd be
Oh,
surprised,
yes.
when
You
my
could do
wife got her
something right
first-
in the lobby.
When my wife got her first
Yeah,
engineering
I'll
job,
talk to you about it.
they gave her, Cummins gave her $10,000, part of which was expected to go buy clothes.
Wow.
So something in the spring at graduation for some of these colleges is not a bad idea.
Dress for
Because a lot of
success.
companies just hand you money and say, here, we want you to look like you know what you're talking about.
Because I'll tell you,
Absolutely.
when I started interning, I thought appropriate clothing was, what I could wear to college. And that is not true. Like, your skirt should be past your knee, and you don't know that.
I even would do a dress for success for graduating RNs, and they had been in their scrubs for all those years, but they had to go interview, and I would have them come to me for a practice interview and dress the part. So
Also,
I
women's
know
shelters, you can do a presentation with them, because there's some trying to get into the workforce, things like that, as,
Absolutely. Crazy. I mean, I love this kind of dialogue. You get people in a room and say, I got a problem. And it's okay to say that. Or, what are you doing that's working? And even if it may be completely different, like a printing person, a computer guy, whatever, sales is sales. And so what are you doing to generate awareness? And what are you doing? And maybe there's a nugget you can pick up there. So it's okay to ask somebody that kind of question. You don't have to go right to, does your daughter need clothing? Kind of thing. Co-op advertising. I don't know if you've got any folks that offer that. My good friend King and Bunny Appliances is a great story. They spend upwards of $250,000 on radio advertising. It's just theirs. None. They get it from Frigidaire, they get it from Amana. All the appliance makers give them co-op. So they take advantage of the co-op advertising. And when I was doing some co-op ad campaigns, I was shocked how few times they asked. So maybe you've got some hair products or facial products or makeup that offer, I don't know. But good way to go.
I had another idea for it. It's a little more simple, but if you have some good friends that are very outgoing, that are out and about working or whatever, maybe give them a great deal or give them a scarf or something that you sell at your boutique, and then somebody says, oh, cute, Jack, I like that. You can say, oh, I got it at House of Style. Here's their card. Here's a 10% off coupon.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for the college people, there's a huge effort to try to get people to show up and be perceived as professional. And it's different in different industries. So, I mean, if you could tailor
I like it.
Pun intended.
your presentation so that it could fit a bunch of different people, and if your target market is women, I mean, our in place is a place to go, right? Nursing, like most of it.
Well, I was thinking more there were other vendors that did come and purchase, but if you were going to go with the career center and offer a workshop on how to, that would be free to you, and that's probably more in your budget, you know. But and then meeting, and definitely the spring graduates, and that's the time. So your timing is
You
coming
could
right
probably run a promotion with the, you know, they get their tickets or, you know, their card saying they graduated, come in as a celebration, you know, 10% off their an item or something. 10% would take off their tax pretty much, and then run that.
Absolutely.
Summer of '12, I traveled around the valley asking employers what was going on around lean strategy. And what emerged was nothing about lean strategy, but how people were showing up and unable to communicate, work well in a group, dress for the interview, all that kind of stuff.
All those soft skills.
In the fall, national data came out saying the same thing.
Yep.
There's a huge need out there to educate people about what does it look like to be perceived as professional and credible. So speech, one thing, but definitely what you're wearing.
Absolutely. Other, you have some sales questions and challenges that you bumped into in your business, or yeah, go ahead.
My problem is that I'm not really selling per se. Somebody doesn't sit around saying, I wonder if I should fix my computer today. No. In fact, most people are saying, I don't want to fix my computer today. I'd be surprised how many broken computers there are out there. I should be really busy. It's a matter of being aware when it does break.
Exactly.
They go, okay, who can I call? And that's how I stumbled across my business name is Joe the Computer Guy. I need a computer guy.
Absolutely.
With any luck, it'll lock into somebody else that, wait, there's a guy named Joe who's a computer guy you can call. And what I've done in Anacortes, there's a publication in Anacortes called The Clam Digger. If anybody's ever seen it, it's sort of the Fidalgo Island Bible. Everybody gets it. Tell me I'm wrong. Everybody, the entire island gets, it's free. They pick it up at Safeway, what have you.
Yep.
The whole island reads it cover to cover every week. And it is the place to advertise. If you spend it anywhere else, you're just wasting your money.
Nice.
And right now, about 80% of my business comes from there. The problem is there is no clam digger here per se. I started advertising in the paper just recently, and it's starting to show some traction. My big luck is I've got. When I first started, I hired a graphic artist to do a logo for me, and this. I can't tell you the number of people who will stop at a stoplight and look at my truck and just stare at it for a second.
Can you order plushies? I would buy one.
Absolutely.
Oh God, where do I get those? Sure, there's got to be a company that does that. Plushies.com has to be out there. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Little
you
plushie.
can get a bus route.
Yeah. In fact, my next car is going to be. I'm probably going to wrap it and have this all be much bigger. But,
Absolutely.
and I even found that in the newspaper, I'm paying 3 times what it costs for just the ad to include the graphic, and it makes all the difference.
You have to.
Is there any other suggestions? Because, like I said, mine is all about just making generalized awareness that there is a guy that will come to your house and will climb under your desk for you and will fix that sinking thing.
How much of your business is corporate versus residential?
Right now, it's about 95% residential.
Do you want to expand the corporate side?
I'd like to, because they're more likely to say it's broke. Just call Joe and get it fixed. We don't have time.
What's it cost to do a flyer insert in the Mount Vernon Chamber newsletter?
$75, and it reaches about 500 members.
Actually, this month I'm doing something kind of I didn't realize how big it was until I started writing the checks. I'm sponsoring this month's luncheon.
Yep.
Oh, great.
These are
I'm providing, I'm selling laptops. There'll be about this size, a small netbook laptop I'll be giving as a door prize. But I'm ordering pens today. They just sent out the order today. So it's a lot of money and time and effort to get this together. To make it, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. You
Yeah.
know, there's no point in doing it halfway.
God bless you for saying that, because that's important, you know, because sometimes you get, the checkbook comes out, you go, but if you're going to do it right.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's when I did the newspaper. I realized it was going to cost. It was $90 a month to put an ad in just the Pick a Pro section. It's $290 to put it in with the graphic.
Are you in the, just the print version?
You can go online and find it. I'm not doing the banner ads. That's what I'm curious about. How do you do
I take
that?
a look at the banner ads, because you can buy, for example, an ad on a business page in the Herald, online, go Skagit.
I'll do that.
Ask your sales rep about different opportunities that they can do there. They also have mailing lists that you can buy. So there's different things you can do to target that. So I'd sit down with your sales rep and sort of say, so tell me about the products that you got and how I might be able to take advantage of it. And she or he will hit you with tons of ideas, but there may be one that sticks. Worth it.
Right, because don't get me wrong, I love going out to Anacortes, but if I could do work here, one trip to Anacortes is an hour round trip. That's an hour that I don't get back. I don't get paid for that.
I hear you.
So my goal is eventually to go to Anacortes Tuesdays and Thursdays, go to LeConner once a week, and be done with it.
Mhm.
But I'd rather be working in this area
Sure.
because this is where my house is. This is where I work
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah, check with the Herald.
But
I'd also talk to the radio station and see if they want to do a computer show.
Jerry,
Keane,
Kean,
Keane,
Jerry with a J.
Jerry with a J.
I can get his information from the chamber.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I also will say,
And-
I was telling Karen Miller, because she was talking about how do you get people who've been in business for several years to join the chamber. And I said, it's kind of like belonging to a church. You know it's a good idea, and you know there's going to be a payoff. It's just hard to quantify, you know? It was very much like belonging to a church.
Yeah.
I believe I'm getting value for money by paying to be a member of this, but it's hard for me to tell you why.
Well, I just think from the awareness standpoint, that first stage, and just letting them know you're the guy. I think, and when I have a computer problem, oh yeah, he's a member of the chamber.
Yes, and I have gotten
And
several calls
there's-
just on the
there's
fact that I'm
levels
using
of
it.
trust
Somebody
built
on
up.
that dresses up like this as your little mascot.
That's the funny thing. I recently bought new glasses and didn't realize after I got them that they matched my
Yep.
logo.
It's him.
You should wear a blue shirt and gray
I
pants.
do have a blue shirt.
Nice.
It is funny how
And then
it
walk
works out.
around and be the Joe.
I am, yeah, we call this Little Joe. And it goes on everything. My wife has her MBA and she talks about branding. Everything has that logo. All my cards, all my invoice, everything goes out with that logo.
Absolutely.
just your thoughts on brick and mortar stores, how do they compete with the online sales? Any pros or wisdom on that?
The online book, like Amazon's, they're going to compete with you on price. And they'll compete with you on service in terms of getting stuff back, and they'll get it out quick. But there's no relationship, and there's no opportunities to create something special, both in terms of the level of customer service going in, as well as, I'm a big believer in shopping local, and playing off that whole angle, I think, because you can trust your neighbor kind of thing. Some stuff you're not going to be able to compete with, and Amazon has come in like the old Walmart and just kind of kick rear end, you know. But for a lot of stores, I think that there's a niche that they can play with. I'm not optimistic about record stores and things like that. Mike McCready's just opening up a label that does something but vinyl. A player from Pearl Jam. Again, it's a little bit different than what you're going to see there. So go to your strength there. You know, again, it's you want to feel you should support the community. You know, and certainly some people are going to be battling just on price. But
Well, the other
I
thing-
can play that note. Any anybody have experience where your services are being challenged by online? The
Well,
Amazon of the worlds and.
oh, no, I mean, our services is definitely, we come up against the guy who does the duck cleaning for $49, and he's not really getting his air ducts cleaned, but he doesn't know that. And we don't do that, so we come up against that a lot.
Yeah.
So we don't advertise in like Valpak and those things, because everybody that does the $49 duck cleaning advertises in there.
Anybody do use Groupons or Living Socials and try any of that stuff?
I will say, by the way, when we lived in Indiana, we had our roof replaced. We got 2 estimates. One was twice. One was so much. One was twice that. And my wife called up the twice the guy and said, "Why is yours so much more?" And he was very upfront. He goes, "All of my workers are legal,
Right.
bonded, insured. If anything happens, I'm on the hook. You will have a quality roof that will not leak." And just by the happiest coincidence, our next door neighbor had the cheap guy do it. And as far as I know, that thing still leaks like a sieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours was perfect and not the tiniest mess. Everything was flawless.
Right.
And you can never underestimate the importance of value over
Yes.
cost. And there's a difference between those two words.
And
Absolutely.
that's what we do. We explain it to.
Yeah, and it's hard to get that across though in a simple price.
Right, because they're going, yeah, but this guy's $49, you're $500. You know, that's a big
Yeah.
difference. And, you know, we just have to, Dave's really good at explaining it, and he usually gets the sale, but it's just, we advertise on Google, because those flyers in the paper, it's just,
Good for you. Good for you. You know, the whole issue of price is an interesting one. I think one of the things that gets a company, or particularly a retailer, into trouble is constantly being on sale. If you're constantly on sale, people will never decide to buy because it'll be at a better price tomorrow. And so they put off the sales thing. And if you look, for example, at Nordstrom, they have 2 sales, 3 sales, events.
Anniversary sale,
Where they call anniversary sale, and but during the course of the year they have events. An event by the name is a sale, but they differentiate it that way so they don't feel like you're constantly on sale. So I get questions a lot about our billing rate, our hourly rate, and they go, "Well, you're pretty expensive." And I said, "Yeah, but it'll take me an hour to get the job done. If you want to hire somebody else and take 5 hours of research, great, you're going to pay more." Gotta be honest about it.
Yeah.
I have a different scope of coming today in terms of the fact that Goodwill has its own brand and people know what the store is and what they do. But the collaboration of the Job and Training Center with employers is something that we're having difficulty. People still don't know what that is or where we are. And so that's why I came today, to see if there was any other niche for me to be able to represent Goodwill as the Job Training and Education Center, not the store, with that collaboration. As the employment specialist, that's what I want to do, build my relationships with the businesses who may be future speakers to our students or employers.
Absolutely.
So I know all the regular ways to do that, but it's just odd to me that the center has been there probably a decade and people still don't know where they are, or oh, I didn't know you were there. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh, they don't know they can send their employees just for free upgraded computer classes, for instance. So I'm trying to think of other ways without spending a lot of money that I can, and just me running around yakking, how I can do that. Somewhat, we already send a newsletter of events and such, so people know when our sessions are. But it's actually, how do you get somebody to know where your location is, if it beyond signage?
Yeah, I think you're overshadowed by your brand. I mean, my
Overshadowed by the brand?
Yeah, when I hear Goodwill, I think
Yes.
Good deal on clothes.
Yeah,
Sure.
never
And
think
stuff.
of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is where I clean out my closet too.
Right, right.
Right, and then when I tell people I work at Goodwill, they think I'm putting clothes on hangers,
Right,
or stocking,
Mhm.
or handling donations. And
right.
But the job training center, I mean, there's 19 training centers that are employing, last year they put over 9,000 people to work by training them in those soft skills, in basic computers, Excel.
Sure.
All of those things that every employer would want their people to have, and if they sent Sally Sue over 2 times a week for 8 weeks, she'd have Excel.
Just a couple things before we break up. My suggestion would be to find, who helps people find jobs in this region?
Well, WorkSource, Express, and, well, not Express, but all personnel agencies, WorkSource, and other agencies that have a
So,
devoted
Coming up
employee
with a
like
list
me.
of those people would be your target market. And I would add, making sure that the chamber knows about that.
Well,
The
yeah,
school
we belong
district's
to
got a
both.
big intern mentoring program. Bob is often bumping into businesses that are looking for placement, so he should know about your services. The college needs to know about that. Show up at career fairs. I mean, you gotta insert yourself as a player in
Yeah,
that
no, I'm
conversation.
already there. I'm on the work team at the college, and membership is with Mount Vernon and Burlington, and I go, but they never had me before.
You bet.
That just started in January,
The other
so.
thing is to focus on, and this is not all your job, but again, that image, to focus on the end. So if you're at a chamber luncheon and you have a student who has gone through your program and has been successful, here's my guest, so that way you can do a little quick commercial about
And
that.
we're doing sponsoring the Biz Buzz in April, so that was also starting
Yeah,
me
there
up
you go. So-
on what we could provide, because we don't really have a product.
It would be
so to
great to
speak,
do
you know.
some videos about success stories.
Oh,
Again,
yeah, I agree.
focusing on the end user and then get that up on your website. You can send out an email to Bob and sort of say, here's an example, and people will take time to watch a video. It's pretty cool. So he may dial into it and sort of think, that's very cool. So that'd be my suggestion, is really take a look hard at who
And
your
there really
target
are
market
so
is.
many success
And
stories.
expand that, and then get the success stories down so people just don't know you're selling clothing.
We get a mayor's coffee over there at Goodwill. She moves them around.
Oh, that's
Great
great.
idea.
I'll-
Great idea.
Oh, yeah, I saw that she was gonna be.
Good, anything else? Somewhere on here, oh, there I am. I'm here, so if you have any questions, want to drop me an email, feel free to shoot me an email, and
Real quick, Salesforce.com, customer relationship management stuff, cloud-based. You're taking
great for
that.
prospecting, but kind of a second tier in my mind. I think there's opportunities beyond, I think just hitting the local market, that I'm sure that virtually all the businesses haven't saturated to get the word out through that way. But yeah, it's a great way to take it to the next level beyond that.
You know, I was thinking customer retention, reminders to call back and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anything else?
Thank
Thank you guys so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.